What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2021 Chevrolet Camaro SS1LE. Big shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this muscle car for today's video. Definitely check out their website linked down below. They have a pretty awesome selection of pre-owned cars just like this manual 1LE. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in red hot and has a list price around $57,000. Underneath the hood, this SS Camaro utilizes a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter 8-cylinder engine. This V8 pumps out 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to the 6-speed manual transmission and sends the power to the rear wheels through a limited slip rear differential, and it can even achieve 0 to 60 in just 4.1 seconds and a quarter-mile time at 12.2. It'll top out around 165 miles per hour. And if you opt for the 10-speed automatic, you can dial in that 0 to 60 time in 3.5 seconds. And with a curb weight around 3,600 pounds and running on a 19-gallon fuel tank, you can expect 16 miles per gallon in the city with 24 out on the highway. The overall length is 188.3 inches with a wheelbase at 110.7. Height is 53.1 and width is 74.7 inches. Taking a look at the exterior styling with this Camaro SS, with the addition of the 1LE track performance package, this has a much more aggressive design than the standard Camaro SS. Down below, you're going to see a satin black front splitter, has a lot of really sharp lines, and it protrudes outwards quite a lot to give it an awesome look. I definitely love the way it's designed, and it fits really well to this front bumper. We also get a massive opening in the lower portion of the grille with a very cool mesh design. It allows a ton of cooling to the radiator to really keep this big old V8 cool. In the farthest corner, you're going to notice a functional air inlet. It allows air to pass through the bumper and out around the front tires for better airflow. On each corner of the bumper, you can see a body color portion that cuts towards the center with an LED running light. And then the center part of the bumper has also been painted body color to match to keep everything nice and clean. Up top, we have the Chevrolet logo. We have the black and chrome two-tone design with more of this aggressive looking mesh for the upper grille. We have an SS logo up top, then your LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. The headlights on the Camaro are sunken into the bodywork to make them nice and seamless, and it really makes this thing look aggressive up front. The 1LE package also gives you a satin black hood. I really love all these sharp lines leading their way to the windshield, and there's even a functional heat extraction vent up front to add to the cooling. The hood really fits nicely to this bodywork, and all the black accents you'll see all around this car I think really come together very nicely. Moving to the side profile, we get a set of 20-inch wheels in all four corners. They're a split 5-spoke design finished off in a metallic gray. And the massive Brembo brakes look fantastic, especially blending with the red color. Along the front fender, we get the Camaro logo with a red, white, and blue flag underneath it, which is a pretty cool touch for an American muscle car. And then in the lower portion of the door, there's a really sharp body line that goes all the way through. And then I really love the line over the rear fender. It makes it look super wide from the back, and you can tell just how wide that is. We also get a set of red door handles and then more satin black for the side mirrors and then all black trim for the windows. The overall side profile of the Camaro is fantastic looking. It looks like you would expect for a fastback muscle car. Definitely like all the proportions to it, and with the color contrast for the wheels and then all of the red and black accents, it definitely looks really cool from this angle. The roof also has really sharp lines that match what we saw in the hood, and there's a body colored antenna in the back with an integrated camera. From this angle, you can really see just how wide this car looks. And then as we make our way to the rear end, I love the clear LED taillights. They have a three-dimensional look to them, and they definitely stand out very well and also fit into the bodywork. The 1LE also has a satin black spoiler mounted on the trunk that matches very well to the front splitter. And then moving down low, we get an SS logo on the left, all of your parking sensors, and then more satin black for this rear diffuser. In the center, we have your Chevrolet logo along with a third brake light. Standard backup camera is above the license plate. And then finishing it up, we have a dual quad-tipped exhaust. And then moving to the trunk, you can double tap the button on the key fob. However, we do get a button in the rear bumper. You can just press that and it automatically pops. We can take a look at the storage space we have. As you can see, I have my lunchbox and camera bag, and there's actually quite a lot of storage space in here. The opening itself is kind of small comparing it to the competition, but nonetheless, it's pretty squared off, so you could probably fit some larger items in here. Then you can just grab it and go ahead and close it. Then even if the car is locked, all you have to do is grab the door handle and you can press this button. It'll lock it or unlock it depending on what you've left it in. And now we can take a look at this interior. This 1LE has a black leather interior with some alcantara trim and the Recaro seats. If we go ahead and take a look at the door panel now, finished off all in black, we get some smooth leather along the top with white stitching and then more smooth leather for the armrest. There's a little bit of padding here. Then we have your grab handle, more of the leather and stitching, window controls and mirror controls, then your release handle. Then we also get lock and unlock and then memory seating. We also get ambient lighting within the door sill, Bose audio, trunk release, and a little bit of storage. Got some cool contours on the door panel as well. And then moving inside, we get Camaro written out on the door sill. And then taking a look at these awesome Recaro seats finished off in the black leather. We have power controls on this left side. And then you can see the color contrast stitching and just how large these bolsters are. Very cool looking, and I love the two-tone with the gray leather accents, and then all the black alcantara in the center. Has a cool stitch design to it, and it's all perforated. And then moving up towards the back, so you can see how large the back bolsters are. We get more of the alcantara and stitching. Then we get Recaro up top, white stitching along the headrest. And then spinning around, we have a flat bottom steering wheel finished off in alcantara. And then now inside the Camaro 1LE, keep my foot on the clutch and the brake. We can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster, we have an analog tachometer over on the left side with your speedometer to the right, and then we even get some vitals up top. The center area is an LCD screen, and it's configurable using the controls on the right side of the steering wheel. So if we go ahead and take a look right now, I can scroll up and down through this first menu, and you can see quite a lot of information coming up all about the car, oil, tires, and things like that. You can go over now and go into different menus. We have a timer you can set. Then scrolling to the left now, we have information. I can go into this performance icon. We have a G-force meter. We can also scroll down to see that one, all the different vitals. So if you're going to be tracking this car, it's really nice to be able to monitor pretty much everything within the car, even tire temperature. We have audio that can come up. Your navigation can come up as well. Then continuing down through this left menu, we can go into phone and then options. So I really like how many different things you get in this, metric to US, all sorts of different things. The Camaro also features a heads-up display system. If I zoom in on that, you can see the tachometer. So if I give it a little rev, you can see that along with the speed. It's a really cool touch. So then we have some silver accents along the steering wheel with Camaro right in the center. We have a heated steering wheel icon as well as all of your cruise control settings. Some more icons down here for the radio and screen. We have those controls, Bluetooth and audio. Then we have these paddle shifters that are actually for rev matching. You have two of them, however they both do the same thing, they just turn this on and off. Then we have your turn signal stock over on the left with some headlight controls, and then on the right we have all of your windshield wiper controls. To the left of the steering wheel now we have controls for all of your heads-up display system as well as the interior dimming. We have one of your air vents, and then a pretty cool design for the dashboard, and then it's very smooth over on this right side. We get smooth leather and stitching that matches what we saw on the door panel. And then taking a look at the infotainment screen now. Very nice HD screen. We have shortcuts down here. Tapping this red icon, this is all of your climate control that will come up. We have a shortcut for navigation, your phone integration, and then all of your audio, and then a shortcut for home. In this settings menu, you can see the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all sorts of different things are on this screen. Then we have physical buttons down below that also can control the screen. And then below all that, we have physical climate controls. My favorite thing is that these two air vents are actually your temperature. You can just scroll this left and right, and you can see the little LCD screen change. So it's a really cool way to change that. It comes up on the screen when you do that as well. We have heated and ventilated seats. You can see all of your different zones, the power button for the climate, the passenger controls. Then we have the defrost and fan speed right in the center. Moving to the center now, we have all Alcantara wrapping the manual shifter. Really nice shifter, and it's super notchy. It's a really fun car to drive, and I also love a little bit of red accents. We have a drive mode select down below this. You can toggle this up and down, and it comes up on the screen. We have a tour mode. We can go into track, sport, and then even a snow and ice mode. So awesome to have that. We have an electronic parking brake, Then we even have a 12 volt. We get some ambient lighting all throughout this interior. You can see it on the door panel, and then it's on the top of the navigation screen as well. Then we have more of the black leather and stitching for the armrest. Opening this up, we have a pretty good amount of space in here. Maybe a cell phone or two could fit. And then taking a look at the glove box, if I open this up, a pretty large bucket. One last look at the interior. Very simple and minimalistic, not too many buttons. Very sporty as well, and I love the seats. I love all the contrast, and I think the use of materials was pretty good for the Camaro. You do get some cheap plastic on the door panels and the top of the dash, but it does come together very well, and at this price point, not too bad. We also have your rear view mirror, and if I pull this, we now get the LCD screen that pops up. The Camaro is also a 4-seater, and there's a handle on the backside of the driver's seat. I can pull this up to get it a little bit out of the way, and you can climb into the back a little bit easier. Back here we have the same leather and stitching for these rear seats, and you even get the two-tone gray on them, which is pretty sweet to see. And then in the center there's even a wireless phone charging mat for the rear people. Alright, so now it's time for my favorite part, which is sitting in the back seat of a Camaro. So I am 5'11". Let's go ahead and put the seat back to where I had it as a driver. It is usable. I mean, there's no denying I am literally fitting back here. You don't really have any headroom. The ceiling does cut up a little bit, but it doesn't really help for someone like me. But sitting back here, you got a little bit of an armrest, and it's usable. You know, if you need to take 2 people in the back of this car, you can obviously do it. And yeah, it's kind of cramped for headroom, but honestly, it's not the worst thing. My legs are fitting around the seat, but it's workable. And then I can easily grab this and get this out of the way, and then we'll work my way climbing out. So we are setting off now in the 1LE. This is one of my favorite Camaros, and honestly one of my favorite muscle cars. I love the 6-speed manual, the Recaro seats, and I love how hunkered down a Camaro feels. This is really just a good all-around sports car. So let's get my bearings with it, and then we'll turn on to the more fun roads. But getting comfortable in this car, these Recaros are so nice and comfortable to sit in. I love how they are power adjustable, so you can really get it into the perfect place. And just the way it sits and the way like the frame of your body sits in these seats, you have so much support. I could be in this car all day long. The steering wheel wrapped in alcantara is a nice performance touch, flat bottom, and it's pretty small, so it's really just kind of easy to hold, and it's in a really good place, just the way it fits and everything. Armrests are pretty nice. Definitely no complaints for just daily driving this car. The visibility, a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of the Camaro's visibility. You do have a very small windshield, it's like this big, but honestly when you have your mirrors correctly adjusted, it's not too bad looking around. You can see all the contours in the hood. You do feel pretty low in the car, so it might take a little bit getting used to, but over your left and right shoulder, the rear glass is kind of small, but again, with your mirrors correct, it's really not that bad of a deal. So let's get a little bit more comfortable. As far as the more fun factors, the way this car sounds, you can hear the exhaust already. We're just in the normal touring mode. I don't know if we have the magnetic ride suspension on this particular spec or not, but in this mode, you know, the steering is nice and light. The suspension, you can feel the bumps, but it's not backbraking or anything like that. So let's go ahead, bump it right into the track mode. But as far as the fun factor, we'll get up to some speed from second gear. A lot of muscle from the engine. And I love the little pops and gurgles you hear on the exhaust. One of my favorite things with the Camaro is the fact that unlike just a normal unlike a muscle car, this thing handles really tight. When you're taking some turns, it really feels pretty nimble. You can tell it's a bigger car, like I can feel the hood is so far up there, but it really does kind of wrap around you a little bit. And now in track mode, everything just feels so responsive. This is a car you can really take to the mountains and to the track and have some fun. Pretty quick car, you know, it's not the fastest thing. Of course, if you want that, get the ZL1, do some mods and make that 1,000 horsepower. But this car isn't about just pure power. This is about a well-balanced car, and I think they really did it with the 1LE. Super quick. And I forgot, yeah, the paddle shifters are the rev matching. So if I tap that one button, now it'll automatically do the rev matching. So switching over to the POV now. Really good sound, and I like how smooth the power delivery is for this car. It's just smooth motor the whole way. So then as far as the interior and using it, like I said earlier, it's a super simple interior with very minimal buttons. I don't like how some cars these days just have so much clutter to them. With this car, it's just so basic the way you've already seen. So I think that is a really huge plus for a sports car. This car is really just kind of all about driving, having fun, and then it's got enough technology and then enough practicality to make it pretty usable. Man, that just sounds so good, the way everything is set up. Man, even just short shifting under 5K, it's a good motor for sure. And then like I was saying, with the visibility and everything, you know, you just kind of got to get used to it. I don't really have an issue with this car at all as far as visibility goes. And having that camera back there, that is an awesome touch just to give you zero visibility issues for the back. But then just having fun now, the turns. Man, back in the day, you just wouldn't think a muscle car could do turns, but the Camaro really can. The clutch is also not really heavy. Just super easy to place this car. That sounds so good. I don't know, guys. The Camaro is definitely the way to go if you just want some fun. Pretty well priced too for what you get. Aside from some cheap plastics, that's really the only downfall. But other than that, a really fun car. I could see getting one of these if you just want some fun factor. So unfortunately, I think that is wrapping it up for the 2021 1LE. That is the package to get. Just a pure muscle car. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And then big shout out and thank you once again to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this muscle car for today's video. They have a huge selection of nearly new cars just like this Camaro 1LE. So definitely check them out. So that's it, guys. I will see you in the next video.